Welcome back, everybody, to Entertainment Tonight from London. Now, in just 1 week, Prince Harry is expected to return here for a charity event that also coincides with the 3-year anniversary of the Queen's death. But will it be a royal reunion?
Well, I think there's a chance for a reconciliation. The idea that we're going to see Prince Harry back on that balcony representing the royal family overseas or doing any royal work in an official capacity, I think it's out of the
Prince
question.
Harry, who has returned to the UK to attend the Well Child Awards in London. Today he's been to Windsor Castle, where he laid a wreath and privately paid respect to the late Queen, who passed 3 years ago to this day. Well, should King Charles grant Prince Harry, the prodigal prince, a royal audience? Let's get the views of the leading royal commentator and author, Lady Colin Campbell. Lady Colin Campbell, do you think the King should meet Harry?
Absolutely not.
He was so concerned that he spoke to Spencer about changing their name because he thought that might speed things up. This gets even more strange. So Harry wanted the HRHs for the children to be included in their passports. And, according to this report in The Guardian, he wants their children to have the option, when they're older, of being full-time working royals. He wants them to be able to choose. So even though Harry and Meghan have quit royal duties, and they're now making and everything, they want Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet to be...
The royal drama is heating up once again. And this time, it's Prince Harry at the center of it all. What should have been a simple family visit turned into a power struggle, with King Charles slamming the palace gate shut on Archie and Lilibet. From whispers of custody games to Meghan's eerie silence, the situation is more explosive than ever. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around, because what's unfolding here isn't just about family. It's about power, legacy, and survival in the House of Windsor. Stay tuned, because the truth is messier than you think.
You make of this?
Well, I think we're all hoping it's not going to be a royal rejection, because, of course, you have to remember that Harry has not seen his father for about 20 months now.
But one of the big headlines that we're seeing today is that William thinks this idea of a meeting or a reconciliation is a terrible idea.
The King is very open to a reconciliation, but trust is absolutely key to that. Prince William is...
Yeah, so Richard Eden put together a great timeline on the Daily Mail about this, because I think that we forget that Harry and Meghan specifically told media at the time of Archie's birth that they didn't want to give him a title. They didn't want him to have any of the pomp, because they wanted him to live a life as normal.
Even when Will and Kate came over and I had met her for the first time, they came over for dinner. I remember I was in ripped jeans and I was barefoot. It's like I was a hugger. I've always been a hugger. I didn't realize that is really jarring for a lot of Brits.
Campbell, do you think the King should meet Harry?
Absolutely not. I think it would be a fatal error to meet Harry. There's no reason why he should. It's not going to work in his favour. It's not going to work in favour of Prince William. I think it would be a gross error, because anything that happened in the meeting could be twisted.
Prince Harry's latest trip back to the UK wasn't the warm family reunion he probably hoped for. It was a showdown. He asked King Charles to let Archie and Lilibet into Buckingham Palace, but Charles wasn't having it. What Harry framed as a family visit came off more like a power play, with people whispering that he might be trying to build stronger UK ties for his kids, maybe even setting the stage for a custody battle down the line. And while Harry faced the storm, Meghan stayed silent. That silence was loud. It left him alone to take the hit, and honestly, that's a bold move on her part.
Can we talk a little bit about Meghan, because she just shared some new pictures of Archie and Lilibet behind the scenes, and season 2 of her new Netflix series that just started with Love, Meghan. Can you talk about how the second season of her series has been received here in the UK?
Do you know who doesn't like lobster?
The rejection from Charles wasn't just a father shutting the door. It was the Crown sending a message that Harry's decisions have consequences. Once upon a time, he was celebrated as the rebel prince. Now he's finding himself locked out in Britain, losing support in America, and surrounded by questions about what happens next for his family. The palace didn't say a word, but the silence itself spoke volumes. Harry is on the outside, and that's exactly where the monarchy intends to keep him. And let's talk about those palace gates. They didn't just close on Harry, they slammed shut. Behind them wasn't just tradition or formality. It was a clear warning. The vibe was basically, you can't torch the family brand and then expect to stroll back in for a welcome home hug. When his plane touched down, people weren't gossiping about reconciliation. Nope. The buzz was all about Archie and Lilibet.
Thank you.
Mom. Breakfast time. Go.
Do you think the king should meet with Harry?
Absolutely not. I think it would be a fatal error to meet Harry. There's no reason why he should. It's not going to work in his favor. It's not going to work in favor of Prince William. I think it would be a gross error because anything that's happened in the meeting could be twisted, unless, of course, there would be a witness, as there was at the last meeting, the 12-minute meeting at Clarence House, when the Queen, the present Queen, Camilla, made sure that she was in the room the whole time. No, there's no advantage to meeting with Harry.
Those kids are the ultimate wild cards. From day one, their connection to the monarchy has been wrapped in controversy. Secretive hospital stays, unclear paperwork, constant whispers about how those pregnancies were handled. For a royal family obsessed with lineage and receipts, it's always been an awkward chapter that never really closed. So when Harry marched back in, pushing for his kids to be treated like full royals, it didn't feel casual. This wasn't some sweet, oh, let's pop by for tea. Nope, this was a calculated move. And King Charles, he saw straight through it. His answer was short and sharp. No entry, no reunion, no special treatment, not even for his own grandchildren. That rejection wasn't just about parenting, it was about power. A signal from the heart of the monarchy that the crown comes first, always. And here's where the plot thickens. Because this isn't just about two kids visiting the palace. There's a bigger game playing out. Legal experts are already raising eyebrows, asking, why now? Why is Harry so eager to bring Archie and Lilibet back into the UK spotlight? What's his real endgame?
Harry and Meghan are actually playing a very nasty game at the moment. They are trying to be as divisive as possible in terms of damaging not only the king's reputation, but William's reputation, the relationship between William and the king, and just generally casting the royal family into a no-win situation.
Some people believe this whole thing isn't just about a family visit, it's part of a bigger chess match over custody. Think about it. Harry showing up with Archie and Lilibet in tow could be his way of establishing the UK as a legitimate base for his children. Here's the kick.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can I get you both into the camera here? That's great. This way, please.
Yes, he has the sweetest temperament. He's really calm and
He gets that from.
yeah, and he's just been the dream. So it's been a special couple days.
Here's the kicker. This move may have even gone against Meghan's wishes. If things between them keep getting rocky and a custody battle ever pops up, and honestly, with the way things look right now, that's not off the table, Harry needs proof. Proof that his kids have roots in the UK. Physical ties, emotional ties, royal ties. It's all about showing that their place in the monarchy still matters, even if the palace has closed its doors on him.
Archie and Lilibet's voices have been heard for the first time in a new family video.
Please, God. My phone.
He's not gonna fall. Don't you worry, Mama has him.
Good job!
God. Oh, yes, we do.
We love you,
God.
And we'll be
True.
when you're not
Near us.
We're blue.
Harry and Meghan shared a heartfelt tribute video to Markle's late beagle, Guy, her rescue dog who recently passed away just before appearing in her new Netflix show. Within the video, the couple included adorable snippets of their children with the dog, and it's the first time their voices have been heard.
Please, God. My phone. God. Oh, yes, we do.
Meghan adopted Guy in 2015 in Canada, from a kill shelter in Kentucky, where he had just days left to live. In her video, she penned "In memory of Guy" and encouraged viewers to adopt, not shop.
And Meghan, nowhere in sight. Not on the plane, not walking through the palace, not even making noise in the headlines. Her silence has been deafening. And let's be real, silence from Meghan is never random. It always means something. Some say she's keeping her distance to avoid throwing fuel on the fire. Others think she's letting Harry take all the heat, so she comes out looking untouched when she launches her next big Hollywood project. A new deal, another Oprah-style interview, maybe even part 2 of a memoir. She's not stepping into the crossfire, and that in itself is telling. To me, it feels like she's playing the long game, while Harry takes the immediate bruises.
Even when Will and Kate came over, and I had met her for the first time they came over for dinner, I remember I was in ripped jeans and I was barefoot. It's like I was a hugger. I've always been a hugger. I didn't realize that is really jarring for a lot of Brits. I guess I'd started to understand very quickly that the formality on the outside carried through on the inside. That there is a forward-facing way of being. And then you close the door and you go, oh, great. Okay, we can relax now. But that formality carries over on both sides. And that was surprising to me.
Meanwhile, Harry, once called the People's Prince, is now just another man knocking on a door that won't open. This wasn't a sweet family trip gone wrong. It was a failed power play. And what it exposed was brutal. He's lost credibility, lost control, and lost any real influence over the very institution he once belonged to. When Charles said no, it wasn't just a father denying his son, it was the Crown making a public statement that Buckingham Palace isn't a revolving door that you can run in and out of. It's a fortress, and no matter how hard Harry pounds on that door, if the King says no, that door stays locked.
Welcome back, everybody, to Entertainment Tonight from London. Now, in just 1 week, Prince Harry is expected to return here for a charity event that also coincides with the 3-year anniversary of the Queen's death. But will it be a royal reunion or royal rejection? Our Royals correspondent Katie Nichol is here with me now. Katie, what do you make of this?
Well, I think we're all hoping it's not going to be a royal rejection because, of course, you have to remember that Harry has not seen his father for about 20 months now.
One of the big headlines that we're seeing today is that William thinks this idea of a meeting or a reconciliation is a terrible idea.
The King is very open to a reconciliation, but trust is absolutely key to that. Prince William is far less open to that idea of a reconciliation, and everything I'm hearing.
There's some dark irony here, too. This is the same Harry who once broke royal walls wide open with Oprah interviews, Netflix deals, and tell-all memoirs. Now, he's the one trying to climb back over those walls. But let's be real, it's not just about his kids. This is about Harry himself, clawing for relevance. For a man who left the monarchy to find freedom and peace, his actions scream something else entirely. They scream of someone who misses the structure, the hierarchy, and especially the spotlight that only the Crown could provide. What's even wilder, he actually seems surprised at the cold shoulder he got, as if years of trashing the royal family could just be forgotten with one staged photo op in the palace gardens. Come on, Harry, life doesn't work like that.
This event they were at in New York for the Time 100, there's a really interesting video doing the rounds on social media which shows their car pulling up to the event venue, and Meghan is on the side nearest to the photographers, who I presume are kind of, paparazzi or news photographers and videographers, and Harry's on the far side of the car, and he comes round and kind of tries to chivalrously put his hand on his arm, and she kind of literally swerves him and goes to very obviously greet the person that they're meeting with a big bear hug. And just honestly, the word spare part came to my mind.
Oh,
it
Rebecca!
What he wants is the perks without the price, the royal respect without the royal responsibility. But the monarchy doesn't play those games. It's built on protocol, tradition, and power. Not feelings, not pity. And Charles, for all his fatherly instincts, is still first and foremost the king. And the king doesn't entertain power moves disguised as tea time family visits. And just when you think it couldn't get any more outrageous, there's the security issue. Harry reportedly wanted full royal protection reinstated, not just for himself, but for his kids too. And guess who he wanted to pay for it? Taxpayers. This after he already sued the Home Office and lost, arguing he wasn't safe in the UK without armed guards. Now he expects King Charles to personally pick up the tab. Honestly, that's not just bold, it's entitled. It paints a picture of someone who still hasn't accepted the real consequences of walking away.
The royal family into a no-win situation, which I actually do not think is Harry's orchestration. I don't think he has the brains to do this. I think it's Meghan who has come up with this no-win situation. And Meghan is very good at creating no-win situations for people. And I really don't see how the king could possibly win by having a meeting with him.
It's delusional at best and entitled at worst. And honestly, it shows us a man who still hasn't fully accepted the consequences of his own choices. This isn't 2018 anymore. Back then, Harry and Meghan were seen as brave rebels breaking free from tradition. But those days are gone. The fairy tale has curdled. Netflix deals are slowing down. Their media brand is struggling to hold on to relevance. And meanwhile, the royal family has kept moving forward without missing a step. William, Kate, Camilla, they didn't even blink when Harry came knocking. Not one of them offered a public word of support. Not a single gesture. The silence itself screamed the message. The door isn't just closed, it's bolted.
Prince William is far less open to that idea of a reconciliation, and everything I'm hearing from sources close to William is that it is simply not his priority at the moment. William has his father's best interests at heart. He wants to make sure that the king and the monarchy is not hurt, or damaged indeed, in the process of any reconciliation with Harry.
And here's the worst part. The timing couldn't be more brutal for Harry. Just when he thought he could spin a redemption arc through fatherhood and family values, the British tabloids pounced. Headlines like, "Duke denied, Charles says no." They didn't just sting, they tore him apart. The tone wasn't just mocking, it was savage. And of course, social media turned it into a spectacle, as it always does. Memes flooded in, comment sections exploded, and the majority sided with Charles. People laughed at the idea that Harry actually thought he could just stroll back into Buckingham Palace as if nothing had ever happened.
Save to palliate the mainstream media, who want to keep the whole drama going for as long as possible because it provides them with content.
Of course it does. And can I ask you, Lady Colin Campbell, do you think, you've got your ear to the ground, do you think a meeting between the two men will happen this week?
I don't like predicting, so I want to be very careful.
Could it happen without us knowing?
No, it's not possible.
And then there's Archie and Lilibet. For years, rumors about their births have swirled. Questions about secrecy, surrogacy, and that constant lack of transparency that haunts their position in the royal line. Bringing them into the palace may have been Harry's way of shutting down the whispers once and for all, a move to normalize their place in royal history. But instead of calming the noise, it did the exact opposite. It reignited everything. Why now? Why the sudden push? And why was the palace so resistant? It almost felt like Harry himself reopened wounds that the monarchy worked hard to stitch up.
So Richard Eden put together a great timeline on the Daily Mail about this, because I think that we forget that Harry and Meghan specifically told media at the time of Archie's birth that they didn't want to give him a title. They didn't want him to have any of the pomp because they wanted him to live a life as normal as possible. So that the timeline is important because Archie's born, he's offered a title by the palace. The palace, there was nothing. He was offered a very respectable title, and Harry and Meghan declined the title, and then told media that they wanted this child to live a normal life. Cut to Oprah Winfrey interview where Meghan sits down and accuses the palace of not giving her son, Lily hasn't been born yet, but not giving her son a title because of his...
Behind the scenes, insiders say Charles's refusal wasn't just a cold move, it was about fear. Not fear of Harry, but fear of what those kids represent if they walk through those palace gates. Letting them in would raise complicated questions about their legitimacy, their future roles, and even their inheritance. And those are questions the Crown has zero interest in answering in front of the world. That's a can of worms they'll keep sealed shut. So where does that leave Harry? Honestly, stuck. America no longer celebrates him the way it did when he first left the UK. Britain has completely closed its arms. Meghan Ever the strategist is silent, watching from across the ocean, letting him take all the blows. And the kids, innocent as they are, they're caught in the storm he built himself. What Harry probably thought would look like a family visit now feels like a failed invasion, and the consequences of that move are just starting to unfold. Because let's be real, this fallout isn't just about pride, it's about legacy. It's about what happens when titles get stripped, when trust is shattered, and when the bridges are nothing but ashes. And the harsh reality? Harry isn't just cut off from Buckingham Palace. He's a man without a true home in either world. The UK has moved on. The monarchy has locked its doors. And across the Atlantic, even the Hollywood shine that once embraced him is starting to fade fast.
So is there a possibility that Harry could ever return to royal life?
Look, well, I think there's a chance for a reconciliation. The idea that we're going to see Prince Harry back on that balcony, representing the royal family overseas, or doing any royal work in an official capacity, I think it's out of the question.
Can we talk a little bit about Meghan?
Harry's memoir, which once shot up the bestseller charts, has now lost its sting. The public appetite for his grievances has dulled, and people are tired of hearing the same complaints on repeat. Every interview feels like déjà vu, rehashing the same stories, the same frustrations, the same misunderstood prince narrative. But the audience isn't buying it anymore. The storyline has shifted. He's no longer the underdog fighting against the system. Now, he's seen as the man who won't stop looking backward while insisting he's moving forward. And honestly, it's starting to feel a little desperate. Then there's Meghan. She's been strategically silent, yet always present, just beyond the spotlight. Her absence during Harry's UK trip wasn't just convenient, it was calculated. No photos, no sound bites, no slip-ups for critics to pounce on. But don't think she isn't watching. Sources say Meghan is monitoring every move, waiting to see how it plays out. Some believe she'll spin this rejection into her next big project, whether it's a Netflix special, another sit-down interview, or even a new memoir. The narrative is practically writing itself. Meghan, the outsider, once again cast aside by a cold and unfeeling monarchy. But here's the
Yeah, so Richard Eden put together a great timeline on the Daily Mail about this, because I think that we forget that Harry and Meghan specifically told media at the time of Archie's birth that they didn't want to give him a title. They didn't want him to have any of the pomp because they wanted him to live a life as normal as possible. So that the timeline is important because Archie's born, he's offered a title by the palace. The palace, there was nothing nasty about this. He was offered a very respectable title, and Harry and Meghan declined the title, and then told media that they wanted this child to live a normal life. Cut to Oprah Winfrey interview where Meghan sits down and accuses the palace of not giving her son, Lily hasn't been born yet, but not giving her son a title because of his...
Meghan Markle feeling all the support from her kids, visiting her on set of her Netflix lifestyle series, With Love, Meghan.
The flavors are beautiful.
It's delicious.
The Duchess sharing a rare look at her family. Here's 6-year-old Archie and 4-year-old Lilibet watching mom do her thing on a monitor.
But here's the danger. The victim card has been played so often, it's starting to feel overused. Behind the scenes, whispers about cracks in their marriage are growing louder. Some claim Harry feels isolated while Meghan feels trapped. If this UK humiliation was part of a strategy that Harry pursued without her full support, it could push their rift even wider. And with legal experts now hinting at custody maneuvering, the stakes have skyrocketed. This isn't just about emotions anymore, it's about legal rights, financial security, and international consequences.
Now, this is kind of weird, but I'll explain it is another establishment plot. So what it was Harry and Meghan were applying for British passports for their children, and it took ages. And they were told it should be about 3 weeks, but it was months. And now I'm not going to call Harry paranoid, but we saw him in his BBC interview recently, who described, a court case he was involved in and lost as being an establishment stitch-up. Well, here he smelt another establishment stitch-up, and he thought they're taking so long with these passports because they're not going to give them, they're going to refuse them. Mm. And so, according to this report, he was so concerned that he spoke to Spencer about changing their name because he thought that might speed things up. This gets even more strange. So Harry wanted the HRHs for the children to be included in their passports. And, according to this report in The Guardian, he wants their children to have the option, when they're older, of being full-time working royals. He wants them to be able to choose. So even though Harry and Meghan have quit royal duties, and they're now making videos and everything, they want Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet to be potential royals in the future that could play an active part in the British royal family. It takes your breath away.
Imagine the headlines: California versus the Crown. A battle not just of parental rights, but of narratives, of who gets to control the story. Meghan will fight tooth and nail to keep Archie and Lilibet in the U.S., far from the scrutiny of the monarchy. But if Harry keeps pulling them back into the royal orbit, even symbolically, it could spark a legal war so messy it drags everyone through the mud.
Can we talk a little bit about Meghan, because she just shared some new pictures of Archie and Lilibet behind the scenes and season 2 of her new Netflix series that just started with Love Meghan. Can you talk about how the second season of her series has been received here in the UK?
Do you know who doesn't like lobster?
Who?
My husband.
No way. And you marry him?
You're always going to get different polarizing opinions when it comes to Meghan, but I think she's more relaxed. It was lovely to see them behind the scenes, on the set, watching Mummy at work.
And through it all, the palace remains silent. No statements from Camilla, no gestures from William or Kate, no leaks, no whispers, just a solid wall of royal frost. That silence is deafening, and it's far louder than any tabloid headline. It signals unity, finality, and a permanent decision to keep Harry out. The monarchy, for all its scandals and chaos, has finally drawn a line in the sand, and Harry's firmly on the other side. The saddest part? He did this to himself. Back in 2020, he didn't just leave the institution, he torched it on his way out. And now, standing in the ashes, he wants a second chance. But second chances aren't handed out easily in the House of Windsor, especially when the crown feels betrayed. So now Harry is left facing a harsh truth. He's no longer the young prince who walked behind Diana's coffin, capturing the world's sympathy. No longer the soldier prince admired for his service. No longer the cheeky royal rebel who charmed the press. He's just a man with fading influence, a fractured family, and a legacy slipping right through his fingers. The gates of Buckingham Palace are closed, and they're not opening again. Because at the end of the day, the crown always protects itself. And Harry, for all of his titles, tears, and attempts to return, is no longer part of that world. So here we are, Prince Harry on the outside looking in, the palace gates bolted, and the monarchy making it clear he's no longer welcome. Meghan's silence, Charles' refusal, and the world's reaction paint a brutal picture of a prince without a throne and a family divided. But what happens next? Could custody battles turn into international warfare? Will Meghan use this as her next big narrative? Or is Harry's story simply running out of chapters? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like button, that subscribe, for more royalty, drama, and deep dives.